Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Absolutely Podcast, the podcast specifically designed to help women defeat diet culture and live their dream healthy lifestyle. I am so excited for today's episode because I am going to be talking about how to lose body fat during the holidays or at least not gain any body fat. And if you're someone that normally goes through the holidays and ends the year up 5 to 10 pounds, this episode is for you because it does not have to be that way. And you also don't need to deprive yourself and be miserable. I am very much so a coach and a person that preaches and practices myself enjoying the holidays and enjoying yummy foods, but doing it in a way that you're still able to maintain your progress and not end the year just completely feeling disgusting and not well, which is not what we want, right? So that's what we'll be talking about today. First, we'll go into my rose of the week and my thorn of the week. Those are also kind of the high and the low of my week. If you're like, what the heck is a rose and a thorn of the week? That's just something that my family did growing up. So I decided to incorporate it in this podcast and my favorite product as well. Then we'll go into the episode. But I also wanted to let you all know that I only have 3 spots left for my Black Friday 20% off sale. This is the only sale I do on coaching a year. So if that is something that you want to save a little bit of money on and get to your healthiest, happiest version of yourself, make sure to visit the link down below. It gives all the different factors of my program and things that I do inside of that, but thought I would mention that right off the top here. So let's get into my rose and thorn for the week. So my rose for this week is that I went to my first NFL game yesterday, which might sound lame, but growing up in Utah, I never went to an NFL game because you would have to travel to go to a professional football game because Utah does not have an NFL team. The legend has it is that because of the high population of Mormons in Utah, that's why they don't do Sunday games. And then like NFL, I don't know. That was what I was told growing up. I could be totally spreading misinformation, but that's the reason why. Never went to an NFL game. And when I moved to Arizona, one of the things that I wanted to just kind of put into the universe was to get tickets to the NFL game. And of course, I could have just bought a ticket, but what's the fun in that? Like, I want to be invited or something. And so I randomly got some tickets, me and my sister did. And so we went yesterday and it was really cool. The stadium in Arizona here is absolutely insane. It is huge and it was such a fun experience. So that was my rose of the week. Gracie and I, my younger sister and I, we dressed up as wags in training for the NFL game and we were wearing heels and the whole day we were laughing like no one here is wearing heels. There were some other baddies wearing heels, but that was the vibe that we decided to go in. My thorn, I was honestly having a hard time even thinking about a thorn for this week, which is a good thing. The only thing I could think of is that I started my like phase 2 of my gut health supplement protocol, which I think this is more of a rose than a thorn, but it's just something that isn't very pleasant to deal with some of these symptoms, if you know what I mean. That basically I started this gut health journey a while ago. I need to do a whole episode on my podcast about my gut health journey because it has been quite the journey. But I had a supplement protocol I was doing, and now I'm going into what's called a kill phase. So basically killing off the bad bacteria that is lingering in my gut. And in order to do that, you have to use some pretty strong antimicrobials and things that are going to kill off that bacteria. So anyways, I started that on Saturday and I've been doing it the last 2 days. And I went to the football game yesterday and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a glass of wine. And yes, my practitioner did say don't drink, which I know I'm following the rules, okay? But I really I felt inclined to have one glass. I'm like, one glass will be fine. Let me tell you, I will not be having another alcoholic beverage doing this gut health protocol. I don't know if it just interacted weird or whatever, but didn't make me feel too hot yesterday and today. Not really a problem, but I am just a couple of days into this kill protocol. It's very intense. I think I'm taking like 30 pills a day and it'll get me to a good spot gut health wise and get everything that needs to be out of my gut out of it. But for right now, I have to just be careful about what I'm intaking, apparently. But God forbid I want a glass of Sauvy B in my first NFL game. So that was my only thorn, which isn't even a thorn because I literally brought it upon myself and I didn't follow my coach. And when you do that, bad things happen. And I am reminded of that every day. Okay, favorite product. My favorite product of this week has been a lip stain. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's the Sachu Beauty lip stain. It's in a metallic tube. I love a lip stain. I don't know how I went my whole life not using a lip stain because I don't realize how like ghostly and pale I look when I don't have a lip stain on. And I'm a girl that loves to have something on her lips at all times. I love a lip liner, lip gloss, something. And so having a lip stain is nice because then you can just put on lip balm on top of it and you get the moisturization from the lip balm and you don't need to like put on a gloss or put on like another lip product all day. And I think it's just such a good like gym girl look too, because you just have like a little stain instead of needing to like commit to like a whole lip situation, especially when you're at the gym. I just feel like it's kind of a lot. So I've been loving the lip stain of it all. So those were all of my weekly updates. And let's get into the podcast now and what we're talking about today when it comes to how do you actually lose weight during the holidays. And this is definitely something that a lot of women struggle with. And I think what it boils down to for a lot of people is the mindset around the holidays. Because yes, you can look at the holidays and say, this is not a time of the year that I can lose body fat. This isn't a time of the year that it's going to be possible for me to make progress. And I think a lot of people get pigeonholed in that idea and kind of cement that mindset in their head of like, this is an impossible time. But I'm here to tell you, it's not an impossible time. It's actually a time that a lot of people can make incredible progress. I have many clients I've worked with that have lost weight during the holidays easily, and they've shown up to their check-ins and said, I didn't feel deprived. I still enjoyed Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of these things while losing body fat. And that's how I want everyone to feel by the end of this podcast, that you have the tools and are equipped to do this. And even if you don't necessarily want to lose fat during the holidays, but just want to maintain and don't want to end the year up not being able to fit into their pants again, that is going to be what I'm breaking down here today, because you really can lose the last 10 pounds between now and the new year. Imagine being down 10 pounds for the new year rather than up 10 pounds and already being way on your way of reaching your health and fitness goals before the new year's hits. And I think a lot of people get stuck in this idea and mindset of, I'll just deal with it in the new year. It doesn't matter what I do now because I'm just going to do some crazy weight loss plan in the new year. How many times has that worked out for you? Like, I don't think it really happens for a lot of people. And I think that they get stuck in this cycle and they gain 10 pounds. They don't lose it come the new year that they think they're going to. And then they're just perpetually putting on body fat year after year after year because of this. I think there's a statistic out there. I should have written this down, but it's that I think people gain on average like 5 to 10 pounds during the holiday season. And you don't need to be another statistic. You can be someone that ends the year feeling good, feeling well. I have successfully not gained weight through the holidays in years because of these things I'm going to be chatting about today. And I'm going to be giving you a simple, doable, flexible plan on how to do this. And also just some mindset tips and tricks, how to deal with your family members, foods to pick, all of that fun stuff. And you should be able to enjoy your holidays and have the best of both worlds with maintaining or making progress in your health and fitness journey and not feeling like crap by the end of the year. So let's talk about why the holidays are not the problem. A lot of people look at the holidays and think, those are the problem. I am a victim to the holidays. And I used to be totally the girl that would get to the holidays and pretty much panic myself because I could not maintain my progress throughout the holidays. And I would go first holiday and then really just throw in the towel and say, you know what? I'll start in the new year. That never served me. That never made me feel better. And I promise you, the way I do it now is so much better. And really, most people fall off and gain weight during the holidays, not because of the holidays themselves, but because they really fall victim into this all or nothing mindset of, I either need to be all in on my health and fitness goals or all out. And I promise you, if you even have 50, 60, 70% compliance during the holidays, you're not going to be gaining the holiday 15. You're going to feel so much better by the new year, not worse. And you still get to enjoy a lot of stuff. I teach all of my clients, and I practice this myself included, is I try to have 80% nutrient dense whole foods throughout my day, but I allow myself the 20% to live life, to have a glass of champagne, to have a Christmas cookie, to have a brownie, whatever I want to have. And if you don't fall victim to that all or nothing mentality of, I can't be perfect, so that way I should be nothing, that is such a losing mentality, and one most women struggle with to some extent. I can't even tell you how many calls I've been on with women that tell me that exact same thing of, I'm either all in or I'm all out with my health and fitness goals. And that is a really hard cycle to be in. And when you're struggling with something like all or nothing mentality, you really have to embody and learn and teach your brain how to get out of that all or nothing mindset and really dissect when you're having those times that those mindsets are popping up. So for instance, if you get to a holiday party and you have a cookie and in the back of your head, you're like, well, I already had a cookie. I might as well just go binge the whole cookie table and go home and drink a bottle of wine and order McDonald's in. Like that's where an all or nothing mentality, like the peak all or nothing mentality creeps up. So instead of doing that, have a cookie and say, okay, that was great. That hit the spot. I don't now need to ruin my whole day or my whole week because of this. And what I would do in that instance is enjoy the cookie, get right back on track after, maybe have some protein afterwards or have some water and don't throw in the rest of the day and say like I need to quit because of one bad decision. That's how you reinforce a poor relationship with food and a poor relationship around this all or nothing mindset. With the all or nothing mindset as well is it's something that you really have to train your brain to reverse. And when I think of the holidays, I think of it as a holiday, not a hol week, not a hol month. And this is where the all or nothing mindset gets a lot of people is that they think the holidays are like a whole 2 month affair of eating whatever they want. And I promise you, if you treat the holidays like that, you're gonna feel heavy come the new year. So if we don't fall victim to this and we say, okay, I'm going to enjoy Thanksgiving, I'm going to enjoy Christmas, the holidays, whatever you celebrate, and you get right back on track the new year, you'll feel a lot better if you just get back on track that following day instead of treating it like a haul a week or haul a month. It's also just like a more stressful time of the year. It's a time of the year that maybe you're not in your normal routine. Maybe you don't have work. Maybe you're traveling. And so those can also definitely be stressors. And that can cause a lot of people to eat reactively instead of actually eating intentionally. And so when it comes to the holidays, still focusing on core things that are part of your routine, like if you are working out right now, keeping working out as part of your plan, keeping your steps in, keeping your water in, doing things that are non-negotiables, which I'll talk about in a second here, my 3-2-1 method for the holidays. But you need to be intentional about what you're eating still. You can't just be reactive and just say, it's the holidays, I might as well just have whatever I want. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need at least a simple structure to keep you going. So let me talk about now my 3-2-1 formula for staying fit during the holidays. So the first is the three. So 3 priorities, or what I like to call non-negotiables a day. So these are things that you try to hit on a day-to-day basis. And all of my clients have customized priorities for them. But for you, where I would probably start out is with a hydration goal, a protein goal, and a movement goal. So, hydrating, the best way that you can calculate how many ounces you should be having per day is to just divide your weight in two and use that in ounces. So, for instance, like I'm 140 pounds, that divided by two would be 70. 70 ounces is my bare minimum to have per day for water. So that would be where you start out. And I would definitely try to hydrate bare minimum because it will keep you fuller throughout the day. You'll feel less dehydrated. If you're having more alcohol, like a lot of people do during the holidays, that will just make you feel a lot better. So I would definitely recommend having a hydration goal. The second is a protein goal. Protein is going to satiate you and it's going to really help stabilize your blood sugar and eliminate a lot of cravings. I know a lot of people look at protein and think, I look at protein and think that's an amazing tool for keeping me full and keeping me from binging the desserts and all of that stuff. So when I am having a holiday meal. For instance, Thanksgiving, I am loading up my plate with turkey. I'm loading up my plate with things that are more protein focused. And I'm going to have half or more of that serving of protein before I eat anything else on my plate. What this will do is it'll help to balance your blood sugar and get you a little bit more full. That way you're less likely to have the things that maybe are a little bit less healthy. A breadcrumb, what is it? What is it called? Stuffing. I don't know why I thought about breadcrumbs. A stuffing like recipe or whatever. So if you do focus on having protein first, you're not going to have as much of that. Now, what I'm saying is like, you don't need to completely cut those things out. I think a lot of people think of Thanksgiving foods and desserts and they immediately think that's unhealthy. I can't have that if I want to lose weight. And that is a classic example of falling victim to that all or nothing mentality. So instead, I want you to build your plate with a good amount of protein, turkey or whatever you have for Thanksgiving, and then have a little bite of everything that you want from the spread. And avoid the things that you don't want. It's okay to not like something. Like for instance, when I go up to a Thanksgiving spread, this is probably why I misnamed the stuffing earlier. I just did it again because I don't like stuffing. I don't eat stuffing, and that's just not something I enjoy having. So I don't get it. And I think a lot of people feel like they have to get things and put them on their plates because they're like obligated to or whatever. And you really don't. So have the things that you truly enjoy. You'll feel a lot more satiated if you have things that you actually want to have at your meal. But I for sure recommend loading up on the protein first. That will keep you more full and less likely to binge on a lot of the things that are a little bit more high in calorie in nature. The next thing is a movement goal. So I would definitely aim to have at least a step goal. I know that Thanksgiving, a lot of places are getting cold or already cold. So this might be a little bit difficult. So if there's any sort of movement that you can do, whether that's throwing on a yoga video or getting a strength training workout in with your family, or going for a Thanksgiving walk or doing something like that and involving your family, I think that's a great way. But we need to just think about how can we hydrate? How can we have protein first? So that way we can stabilize our blood sugar. And what's one form of movement that I can get in every single day? And those three priorities alone are going to help you a ton with being able to maintain your progress and not put on body fat. Those are three things that I just now do, whether I am on vacation or I'm on a holiday or whatever. And I promise you, it's never failed me. And it's something that if you make part of your normal routine, especially when you're not enjoying the holidays, it's so much easier to do when you are off plan or out of your current routine that you're normally in. Okay, so the three we just went over. So the two part of things is have two simple food rules for yourself. I say food rules because I don't like food rules, but I do think that having some sort of intentionality when it comes to food is really important, especially when you are having or wanting to lose weight. And so one food rule or thing that you can use or put in your tool belt is having one fun food per day. So, especially when you are enjoying the holidays, it can be really easy to turn that holiday into a holiday week, into a holiday month. So one easy way to not turn it into a holiday week is going to be to have one small thing that you enjoy. And the great thing is that you have Thanksgiving, you have all these leftovers, and now you know what you really like and what you really enjoy. For me, I love a roll. I love a mashed potato. Those are going to be the things that I enjoy as a fun food, right? Not all of them. Like enjoy the one fun thing spread out over the days. So I'm not talking about this on the days of the holiday. I think the days of the holiday, enjoy the day, be present. Don't feel like you need to be like, I can only have one fun food per day. I'm not saying that. But the days after, have one fun food, have that be one of your rules of the day. Another thing that you can incorporate into your food rules or just food direction that you want to have a little bit more structure with is stop eating when you are 80% full. I think that it's really easy to, especially on these holidays, be encouraged to stuff yourself because I think that's just something marketing wise and just culturally. Thanksgiving, you're supposed to leave the meal feeling like you need like a wheelbarrow to leave the house. And like that's not normal or healthy. I promise you, if you really engage and lean into those hunger fullness cues, you will feel so much better. And this is something you should also practice, not even just on the holidays, but at home as well, for sure. That way you can really master it before going into a holiday or a situation that you tend to overeat. But overeating never makes you feel good. Like, look back onto all the times that you have overate, and how many times have you left that meal and been like, yeah, I felt really good after that? Probably never. So if you stop eating when you're 80% full, I think that's a really great way to look at it and to satiate yourself and feel really good, but not just completely go overboard and feel unwell, because you can definitely enjoy a meal without going crazy. One other like food tip I love to teach clients, especially if there's someone that really struggles with dessert, is the 3-bite rule. So when I'm having a dessert out, I like to have 3 bites, because to be honest, after the 3rd bite, like, you know what it tastes like. Like, you don't need to have more of it, and you always regret having the whole thing. Like, you don't ever feel good after that. But the first 3 bites, those are the best ones. The first one is obviously just like the best. Second, still really great. Third, satisfied. So I think I like to look at it that way too, of the 3-bite rule. That's something that has never failed me and been something that I still enjoy a dessert. But I use the 3-bite rule to portion control and to enjoy the meal without going overboard and feeling full and gross and low energy and all the things that we don't want to feel. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about little holiday specific hacks that you can apply to your meals or to your holidays in general. And there's just some tangible takeaways here that you can literally implement these things. And notice that none of these things are like restrictive or going to take a ton of time or crazy. So let's talk about hack number 1. So this is how to build your plate. And like I mentioned before, I do think that on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, like, enjoy yourself, but there are some guidelines that are helpful, especially when it comes to if you want to really be locked in on your goals and it's something you find really important. I know for me, I'm like, I don't even love Thanksgiving food. Like, I don't really care. I'm probably going to build my plate this way, but if there's something that comes up that I like want to have that's super fun, I'm going to have that. So build your plate with half protein and veggies. If your protein and veggies fill most of your plate, you're going to be in the clear. Have some carbs, mashed potatoes, whatever, and then have fun food. So that's where I like to have just like a bite of the fun foods. And again, pick and choose the things that you want to have. Like, if you don't really care for something that is high calorie, don't get it. There's no reason to get it. You don't need to appease your Aunt Karen because she will feel bad if you don't put her thing on her plate. And you know what? If she says something, put on your plate, you don't have to eat it. But this will keep calories a little bit lower and a little bit lighter without feeling restricted, because you still are incorporating your protein, carbs, fats, fiber, but the fun foods as well to satiate you and to enjoy the holiday, because that's what it's all about. Another hack is alcohol. So alcohol can also be a big culprit to adding a ton of calories onto your day that you don't necessarily need. So if you do drink, a lot of people do tend to have really high calorie drinks during the holidays, which is for sure something that will rack up your calories and also make you not feel too great. So one thing I love to do is alternating each drink with water. So I'll have a drink and then have a water. That's something that helps to keep me hydrated. Also helps with a hangover the next day, and it helps me stick to having a little bit less calories. Another thing I love to do is stick to lighter cocktails after the first one. So maybe the first one I'll have like a fun espresso martini or something like that. And then afterwards, I like to have a lighter cocktail, like a glass of Prosecco or a tequila soda, vodka soda, dirty martini, something that doesn't have sugar, doesn't really have a lot of stuff in it. That will also keep your calories a lot lower. And that way you're not just like drinking your calories and alcohol. You can actually enjoy your food in calories too and not have both. I also like to be really intentional with my alcohol, especially when I'm trying to lose body fat or I want to maintain. So I like to go into the event with having an amount of cocktails I'm going to have. So I'll really commit to this for myself of, I want to have 2 cocktails. I'm really craving an espresso martini, and then I'm going to have a glass of Prosecco afterwards. Perfect. That would be a great game plan for me, because to be honest, after 2-3 drinks, nothing good happens. We don't feel very great the next day. And I feel like when I'm talking to a lot of my clients about alcohol, one of the very common things that, I mean, even I say to myself was like, I didn't necessarily need that fourth drink. You never really need that fourth drink. You never really need that third drink, even sometimes, I could even argue. So I would really recommend setting an intention for I'm going to have two drinks. I'm going to have this and this, because when you set that intention and then you deliver on that promise to yourself, number one, like you'll feel so good and like, yes, I did that. And I stuck to my commitment. For some reason with alcohol, sticking to that commitment with yourself really helps and really does help with establishing this trust within yourself that you can deliver on these commitments. And so I really recommend being intentional with your alcohol. That will really go a long way, especially because alcohol is something that will enhance appetite. It'll make you hungrier. It'll probably make your decision-making factors worse. Like I will say, like when I have a couple of drinks in me, I'm going to eat more. That's just human nature. And if you can eliminate that, at least to some extent, it really helps. And having that just little plan in place really does go a long way. The next hack is that if you are traveling, I definitely recommend having a little like holiday survival kit, if you will. So have a little holiday survival kit that maybe has things like protein bars, beef jerky, protein powder, maybe some electrolytes, a bottle shaker so that way you can make your protein shakes, even like a resistance band in there. When I'm traveling for the holidays, will bring little things like that because sometimes like you're not on the same food schedule as your family, or maybe you just want like a little healthy snack and you don't want to have this whole meal. That would be great. And that way you don't have to use the excuse of, well, I was traveling, so it's just like had no choice. Yes, you do. Like going to the airport and getting food that sucks is terrible and is expensive. Like bring a protein bar, bring your own meal. There are ways to travel and to stay on track. You're just choosing not to do them. And that's the real tea. So you can end this episode now. Okay, so let's talk about how to stay motivated, even with slipping up during the holidays and really not falling victim to this all or nothing mentality, plus dealing with judgment from friends and family. Because I know a lot of people go into the holidays and they're nervous about like what other people are thinking. Like, well, what if my mom comments on me trying to lose weight, or like getting a meal and them saying, oh, like you're trying to be healthy. Why are you eating this? I can't even tell you how many times I've been at a meal and someone will be like, wow, you're eating carbs? You're a fitness coach. I didn't think you'd eat carbs. Mind you, I eat so many carbs a day, and that's the key to building muscle. I could get on my soapbox about this forever. But if you're someone that deals with judgment around your friends and family, it can be very hard in order to obviously like lose body fat. Like that's hard in general, but also when you're dealing with the thoughts and opinions of other people, like it makes it even harder. And so I definitely recommend having like at least some sort of a conversation with your family before Thanksgiving. It doesn't need to be this like sit down, this is what I'm doing. But I do find that just like having a short conversation with, like, let's say with your parents, you're going over to their house for Thanksgiving and you tell them like, hey, I'm on this health journey, I really value it. Like sometimes that's literally all you need to say, and then they're not going to like be pushing food at you or whatever. And what I will say is that even if people are pushing food at you, that says more about them than it does you. And sometimes people are just excited and want you to try their side dish, and like that's great, that's fine. Wouldn't say that's like an abnormal thing or like a food pusher, if you will. But it's something you really have to like think about, especially if you have health and fitness goals. It might be something that you've never dealt with in the past, or you're like, whoa, this is a weird feeling. I didn't realize how food centric my family is, or how food focused Aunt Karen is. Like, this is crazy. And I promise you, once you have those, like that veil removed off your eyes of like now focusing on your health and fitness versus maybe years that you weren't, you're probably going to see different things from people. And like, that's okay. That's just the way they live. This is the way their mindsets have come up, but it doesn't need to mean that you are doing the same things that they are. And so I just always like have a conversation with my family, like, I feel like they just know now because it's my job. But at the beginning, like, I would just say, hey, like, I'm trying to be healthier. Like, I don't think that's like bad. And if they say anything, it means more about them than it does you. Like, if they make a mean comment or like just live a little, whatever, like, I really think that you just need to put those comments aside and know in your heart what you want to do and how you want to operate and how you want to feel, because you're in charge of what you put in your body. You're in charge of what you eat. You're in charge of what you drink. And take that power back for yourself. Don't let Aunt Karen bully you into having an extra piece of pie or whatever she's going to make you have, some gross something that she made. I don't know what. Poor Aunt Karen. For any Aunt Karens out there, I'm so sorry that I'm really just dogging on you today. But when you're not perfect, it's normal. And I think that going into the holidays, listening to this podcast episode would be so great. But I would be lying if I said that it's going to go by without a hitch. You're probably going to have days where you slip, where you're not feeling as motivated. Maybe you have too sweet treats or whatever. And that is going to be something that happens. And you know what that means? It means you're human. It means you're normal. And so what we have to do when that happens and how we react to that is really what differentiates those that are successful in their fitness journey versus those that aren't. Because the ones that aren't successful, they say, well, I slipped up, might as well just throw in the towel, start next year. Those that are successful say, okay, I slipped up. How can I prevent that for next time? Or how can I just get back on track tomorrow and learn from my mistakes? That is so important. One thing that I ask my clients in every single check-in to me is what went well for the week and like what could have gone better. And that's how we game plan and talk about, okay, well, how could we change the things that didn't go well? So for instance, if someone comes to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I completely binged on dessert the other day. I had so much dessert. I had 3 pieces of cake. I don't know what happened. I say, okay, let's backtrack. Like, what happened before that? Well, I didn't eat all day. And so I went into the meal starving and blah, blah, blah. Okay, we can fix that right there. Let's focus on balanced meals throughout the day. Let's focus on getting enough calories so that way you don't get to that meal and want to binge. And then magically it never happens again, right? But if we don't do that work of reflecting on, okay, well, why didn't that go well? Well, why wasn't that something that was successful? You're going to always feel like it's this uphill battle, because really what builds habits is messing up and reflecting on what happened. And a lot of people join a program or they start a health and fitness journey and they expect no slip ups. But let me tell you, slip ups are part of the process and they're a necessary evil to get where you want to go. And so instead of looking at a slip as this like permanent thing, a slip is a moment. Think about when you slip, like an adult slips. Like, it's a moment. It's not the rest of your life. Of course, you can think back on that embarrassing moment, just like when you slip up on anything, but it only happens and is a bad thing if you quit. Do not let a slip make you quit. And instead of, giving up after a big meal or a party or having, 4 martinis instead of 3, ask yourself, well, what's like the next healthy choice I can make? How can I stop from making this a pattern? And one thing I love from the book Atomic Habits is to not make something a chain. So let's say you have 1 bad day, don't make it 2 bad days, don't make it 3 bad days, don't make it 4 bad days. And that really helps alone just keep you on track in that mindset. So I really hope that you all took something from this episode. I really enjoyed creating it. And I will say, the more holidays I go through coaching women and also living this lifestyle myself, the more magical it becomes, because I remember just being in such a restrictive spot where the holidays would really send me into a panic and would be a bad spot for my relationship with food. And I focused a lot more on what my body looked like and what I was eating and food guilt than I did actually enjoying the holidays and enjoying my family. And I really wish I could take back those years of focusing on food. It's so stupid. Like, focus on your family. This does not need to be a whole food focused thing. I know that these holidays have been created to make money for everyone and businesses. And part of that is they've made it very food centric. You don't need it to be food centric. You can have it be something that you enjoy the food, but you enjoy the company more. You enjoy your family. Like, I can't even tell you how many check-ins I've had with clients where they tell me, like, I've spent so many holidays so guilty about my food that I like even forgot, like, my kids are like growing up. Like, you're not going to have Thanksgiving with your family forever. And that's a really sad thought to think, but like, if we could just be more present in the moment and at least eliminate this part of negativity from the holidays, I think the world would be a better place. So there you have it. Flexible, healthy, no stress plan to get you down 10 pounds, but even more than that, without missing any out on anything during the holidays and anything that you love, friends, family, food, everything. If you did find this helpful, I really, really would love for you to share it with a friend that maybe you feel like they'll say, oh, I'll just start in January. Like, send that to that friend. I really do believe that this message is meant for a lot of people and something that a lot of people need to hear. And the holidays are about joy, they're about fun, they're about love and laughter and all of that. And your health deserves to be a part of that joy. So thanks for listening. Please subscribe, like, do all of the things on whatever platform you're on. And I will talk to you all next week. Bye.